Welcome to Farmcraft 2023. I'm Dr. Carrie Fowler, the Special Envoy for Global Food Security at the United States Department of State in Washington. Many people know me from my work to conserve the enormous and breathtaking diversity of our agricultural crops. This diversity is used in breeding new crop varieties that are adapted to extreme weather and are more productive and more nutritious. Of course, it's also important to promote investment in healthy soils to boost food production. Now, I work to enhance food security around the world. My love for farming and science led me to where I am today. Now, I'd like to invite you on a journey. But first, I need a bit of a change. Let's discover Farmcraft. Farmcraft is a free Minecraft-based game for 8 to 18-year-old students around the world who want to learn how to feed the future when we will soon have to feed an additional 2 billion people while our crop production will face the threat of climate change. In Farmcraft, you will have a chance to feed a community in a specific biome, and along the way, you and your team will have to make many decisions. Pick a specific crop, decide where to farm, prepare the soil, protect your crop against pests, and of course, avoid climate disasters. Once you will have your crop harvested, you'll have to decide how to transport it to get it to the market. You will compete virtually against teams around the world, and in the process, you'll learn and use the most innovative and cost-effective scientific methods to grow and to sell food. Well, the sun is setting, so it's time for me to get back. The U.S. Department of State is proud to support Farmcraft 2023 with our embassies and American spaces worldwide, working with our implementing partner, the North American Scholastic Esports Federation, or NASEF. Thanks for spending time with me, learning the basics of Farmcraft. I hope you will join a Farmcraft team and be part of our global effort in feeding the future.
Right. Well, as you can see, we are in Farmcraft 2023. Welcome everyone to this live stream. You can see a full slate of guests here. So we have all kinds of content lined up for you. We're going to jump right into it. I'm Claire LeBeau, Chief Marketing Officer for NASEF, and thrilled to be bringing you this esteemed panel today to talk about Farmcraft. Let's keep her going. Lynn.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lynn Scheib. I'm the Partnerships Coordinator in the Office of American Spaces. And I know that there's some submissions from American Spaces tonight that we're pleased to share. And a shout out to every participant in Farmcraft 2023. And I'm going to turn things over to Professor River Eric.
I like it. You could just mix those all around. It's perfectly fine. I take them in any order. But yeah, I am Eric Leitner, go by River. And I am a educational content producer. See, I was going to mix up those words too, for Clever Like Studios, and have been part of Farmcraft since the very beginning, and really excited that we are so close to the regular season, which means big world reveal is coming. But before we can do that, I got to pass it off to other folks who are making those worlds happen. So Clever Like.
Hey everybody, I'm Clever Like, work with Clever Like Studios, founder of the studios, and basically, we celebrate kids that love to play video games, and we sneak in the vegetables. So and Farmcraft
literally
more
sneak in
so
the vegetables
than any other scenario. But yeah, really just trying to extract as much value from kids' love for gaming. So we've got a great group here with us. I'd like to introduce to you John Leslie.
So good evening. I'm John Leslie. I am escaping from my home in the middle of Kansas for a year in Washington, D.C. as a Jefferson Fellow at the State Department. And I've even managed to rope in one of my collaborators from K-State so that there are two of us from Kansas for you to talk to tonight. So Bob, turn on your mic.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. I am a plant pathologist, which means that I work on diseases of plants, and I've got a little story that I'd like to tell you a little bit later. Thanks.
All right, plant pathologist. That is
Wow.
a new job title I had not
So
thought of
cool,
before.
yeah.
Really
Why is that not a reality show? Is my question.
Should be,
I feel
yes.
like that needs to be a reality show.
Plant files.
Exactly. Well, we are going to jump right into it. And the first thing that we are going to do, which I know everyone loves and looks forward to, is take a look at some submissions from preseason challenge number 2. So, Eric, can you just describe for us what were those challenges?
Yeah, so if you remember last week when we were in our world and stuff, and Brian built some cool stuff, I built, a truck, which was less cool, I guess. But the idea was all about transportation, right? We had our farm, and then the question became, how do we get our crop to market? Like, what are the methods of transportation that are used? And we wanted the students to kind of explore what is used in their area. After all, we've got kids from all over the world who are participating, and not every means of transportation is the same. Getting crops to market isn't always the same in terms of how it's gotten there, or the distance it has to travel, or the methods in which it's shipped. So we wanted them to explore a little bit and come up with ideas and share those ideas in their Minecraft space. So that was their challenge. And so we're going to share 3 examples of that. And we will start with Team Kane from not too far away from our guests and from us, I guess, from Missouri, USA.
Hello, I'm a member of Kane, here to show you how we export and import goods to our marketplace. We live on the Mississippi, so we decided to use boats as one of our main transportations. This is our barge, where we have shipping containers full of food that goes down the river into the rest of the world. Further down the river, we have a pirate ship, another way to transport goods. Our goods go all the way down the Mississippi and distribute out through the states. It also goes down to the ocean.
You're muted.
Claire, you're on mute.
Whoops, I'm on mute. Oh,
it wouldn't be a stream if you didn't. It's always
It would
the
not.
case.
It would not.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No worries.
Well, I love their first look at it, and I personally love that they were taking their products to market in a pirate ship with Captain Panda. That was fantastic.
Yes. Extremely, extremely important. I feel like there would be more kids interested in farming if we did things that way, right? If it was pandas piloting pirate ships down the river, kids would be all over this. We wouldn't have to do this series whatsoever. But they got a lot of things that were interesting in there. And one of the reasons I wanted to share it is we talked about a little bit, like on one of our early streams, why different communities would use different shipping methods. And we didn't even, I don't think to mention right here, in our backyard, if we're talking about North America, at least, the Mississippi River as a major means of transportation. So I love that they included that.
Very cool. All right. And what's up next?
So up next is a team from Venezuela, and this is Team Savao, and this is specifically KB. So they've got a few teams, but this is Team KB.
Hi NASA, this is our video. So as you remember, last time we showed you our marketplace. And to that, we built a truck. I'm going to tell you a little information about notification. In our community, the food is distributed from its production area to its distribution area, and it goes by land. No, it doesn't go by plane, it doesn't go by boat, no. Here in Venezuela, it goes by land, by car, by trucks. Here we built a big truck. It's very nice, in my opinion. And yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching.
Did anyone catch that license plate?
No, I did not catch the license plate. I was trying to.
Man,
I was trying
wanted
to. So,
yeah.
We'll have to see if we can follow up and read the license plate. I think that'll be important. I feel like it's probably a team name, but you never know. Sometimes they get really clever with that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
I feel like we need to start like a contest in chat to see so we got Dr. Bob's plant pathology career. We need like names of shows, like Fungus She Wrote or something like that. In chat. what could these license plates could have said?
Right.
So we'll be checking that.
That's a fun thing for students to think about is where are you sneaking in little hidden gems for us to uncover?
That's right. You will always win us over with puns.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have one more video. What about this one, Eric?
And finally, a name that we recognize, but this is a different team submission than last week. So we did have one of our eBlaze teams from Bangladesh submit that we shared on our stream last time, but that was eBlaze Air. This is Team eBlaze Fire. So from the same area in Bangladesh, but a different team coming on the stream this time.
Fire, welcome to our presentation of the second challenge of this season. For this challenge, we have a Minecraft build that will demonstrate food transportation, distribution, and much more. The distance between the source and the destination is a critical factor in determining the mode of transportation used. If the distance is short, we may use trucks. However, if the distance is long, we have ships available in our port. We have refrigerated trucks to transport perishable foods like fruits and vegetables, while dry goods like grains and wheat can be transported using regular trucks and ships.
The transportation of food requires adequate infrastructure and logistics such as ports, roads, bridges, and storage facilities, which we have worked on to show how efficient they are. Transportation infrastructure can be damaged due to various factors like natural disasters, accidents, or wear and tear. Therefore, it's essential to maintain and repair the infrastructure regularly to prevent disruptions in the food transportation system.
Furthermore, transporting food requires tools to operate motor vehicles, which can be expensive and have a negative environmental impact. Therefore, it's important to find ways to minimize food consumption and reduce the environmental impact on surroundings. Food waste and spoilage can occur during transportation due to various factors like improper handling or temperature fluctuations. This could impact the quality and safety of the foods being transported and could also increase cost. These are some of the challenges people face during transportation. One possible solution to these problems could be using refrigerated trucks that use temperature control systems to maintain a consistent temperature throughout the transport process. Our country, Bangladesh, is prone to flooding due to its location and monsoon season. This can impact the transportation infrastructure and logistics, making it difficult to transport food efficiently. Many of Bangladesh's roads are poorly maintained, which can impact the transportation of food and increase the risk of damage to products during the transit.
For our local places, trucks and ships may not always be used. Narrow alleyways that are inaccessible to vehicles can present a challenge for transporting vegetables and other goods. Hence, we have food carts, small boats, and portable food stalls that are carried around a local market straight from a farm. This might be labor-intensive, but these methods have no carbon emissions, which is good for the environment.
We hope you liked your presentation for this challenge. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.
So much information in that. That was fantastic. They were talking about infrastructure and logistics and issues with monsoons. And I don't know if you all saw, I know Eric and Brian did last week. I was on my way to the mountains. There was a big storm and I passed a Save Mart supermarket truck, pulled over on the side of the road with the guy trying to figure out how to put chains on his truck. And I thought, okay, well, there are all kinds of transportation logistics going on right there. That's for sure. It is.
Yep, serious connection there.
It is a reality, right? What we're doing in Farmcraft, this really does happen in the real world. And that's why I'm so excited that we have the guests that we do here today with us, because we are going to talk through a bunch of factors around farming and getting to market as we go through Minecraft. So I think we're going to do all of these things at once. So we're going to have a whole lot going on the screen. And meanwhile, we're also going to be asking some questions. So Eric, I think while you jump into Minecraft and let me know if I need to share a different screen. Oh, there we go. Just like magic.
Yep, so, I've turned into Minecraft.
All right, Eric is now Minecraft. There we go. We see him. All right, so while you're building this, I'm going to go ahead and ask a question just for John and Bob as you are going through the world, and that is, what kind of things do farmers consider when they're choosing what crop that they will plant?
Bob, I'll let you work on that one.
Bob, I think you're muted. Your turn this time.
Sorry.
There we go. Yep.
Look around at what your neighbors are doing. Those are going to be the crops that are adapted to your region. So the first thing is to, figure out what crops are grown there. They're going to be grown there because they're well adapted, and there will be a whole infrastructure to support particular crops. It might be sorghum, might be millet, might be maize. And there'll be a system not only for producing it, but also for selling it and transporting it. So that's one of the main ways that you decide what crops you're going to grow is what do your neighbors grow?
So it actually is a good thing in this case to cheat off of your neighbor, which is otherwise generally discouraged, right?
Right.
All right. Oh, that's good information. And so in the last video we watched, they talked about how they were taking a lot of crops to market just in a cart that they were taking from the farm directly to a local market. And so that's someone who's choosing to stay really local with distribution of their products. But how does somebody decide if they're going to go local, if they're going to go distant? What factors go into those decisions?
There are several things that factor into it. One is, how much of it do you have to sell, and where do you live? If you live in a rural area and you've got a large amount of produce to sell, then you're obviously not going to sell it all to your neighbors, and you're going to have to be able to ship it to another location. So that'll immediately come into play. Another thing that will come in is what's the quality of what you've got. If you're selling things at a local market where people can look at it, at least in the United States, at a farmer's market, the only thing you can sell is the absolute best stuff that you've got. On the other hand, in some other countries, you've got a trader that'll go from farm to farm, and he'll buy the really good stuff and leave you just with the crummy stuff to sell. So, it kind of depends on what you've got to sell and who you're really trying to sell it to.
Got it. And how, you mentioned it depends how much you have to sell. And how much you have to sell depends on how much you plant. So how do you decide how much you want to plant? And do you plant exactly how many, exactly how much of a crop you want? How do you make all of these little decisions?
Oh, well, some of it you learn as you go along.
Little big decisions.
Yeah, little big decisions. Some of it you learn as you go along, and your first goal was not to repeat last year's mistakes if that's possible. So, but what you do, most farmers have got someone who's an established buyer for their goods. So if you've got a whole lot of wheat because you've got several thousand hectares of wheat, then you've already decided where before you start, which silos you're going to be taking it to usually. And once you sell it to the silo, usually what happens to it is sort of out of your control, because the silo gives you some money and you say thank you very much, and you go back home, and then they have to deal with however many tons of grain you've left on their doorstep. Bob, you want to embellish on that?
Yeah, and one other factor is how are you going to get it there? A lot of it depends on, do you have like a truck, or do you have a neighbor that has a truck, or can you hire a truck to move your product? And also, do you have on-farm storage where you can hold on to it until maybe the price goes up to a better level, and then you can sell it later?
That's interesting. That So is there certain storage that there's certain crops that are storable that, obviously like some, but I would assume the clock is ticking as soon as you harvest it versus others where you can store it. So how do we deal with the difference between things that, you got to get them off the vine or out of the ground and to the dinner table? How do you balance that?
So, well, the first thing you do is you look at whether it's fresh or not. If you've got a tomato or a cantaloupe or something of that sort, then you're obviously going to want to sell it pretty quickly or get it into something that's refrigerated for storage. Most farmers don't have refrigerated storage because it's too expensive. On the other hand, if you've got something like maize grain or wheat grain or something like that, then a lot of times you can store that locally, and you'll actually have a silo on your farm that you can put it into, and you'll hold on to it, and you wait until, like what Bob says, okay, they're only going to give me they're going to give me $3 a bushel today, and maybe they'll give me $3.50 a bushel in a month, and I can let it sit for a month and make some more money.
Right.
That probably has something to do with the seasonality. I just was looking at watermelons in the store the other day, and they were $7.99, and I know that by August they're going to be down to say $2.99 or $3.99.
Yeah, what about zucchini squash?
Yeah.
Eventually, by the time it gets to the end of August, your neighbors will be giving them to you just to get rid of them.
And they're this big.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
right.
so funny.
Everyone's that's interesting. Like, and I love that you brought up the idea of the cost factors, right? Like, so we have this idea of how are you, especially in this season of Farmcraft, it's very much based on like all the price factors that go into your process, from the seeds that you buy to the way you maintain your farm. And like you're saying, like the one thing that we don't have in there is like, do you want to hold on to it and hold out for a better price, and then take the risk of whether maybe you get a lower price and not a better price. So,
there's some cost to you for storing it as well, because you have to have the infrastructure to be able to store it. You don't want to just leave it sitting out on the ground.
Right. And like you said too, right? Like cost is a factor. So refrigerated storage is ideal. But we don't have, not everybody has that. And if you do have it, it's going to increase your costs. And the longer you store it and the more you pay for that refrigeration, the higher the price is going to go, or at least the cost is going to go on the goods that you're storing, right?
Right. And some things, no matter, if you're storing tomatoes, even if it's refrigerated, it's not an indefinite storage period. Whereas if you're storing wheat grain or corn or something like that, if the conditions are right, you can store that for years.
Wow. That's really, really cool. That's a level of detail that we that's hard to get into, and be interesting for people to talk about that and think about too. It's like the crops you grow, how they meet the needs of the market, but also like how this whole other factor is like, well, I mean, if we grow it, we got to eat it real quick versus we can grow it now and store it for a few years. Does that open up the farm, like the ability for the farm to say like, okay, we're good there, so let's grow something else, from a crop rotation standpoint?
Oh, it could. Usually your rotation is based on the condition of your soil, on the diseases or the pests that you might be trying to get rid of. Those kinds of things. What else goes into the rotation considerations, Bob? Usually it's breaking a pest, but what else?
Weed control. Weeds are like one of the biggest things.
Yep.
So by changing crops, you can control the weeds a lot better and reduce your carryover of weeds from one cycle to the next cycle. So that's as important as diseases or insects, I think.
Because the weeds steal from your plants. They steal the nutrients out of the soil, they steal the water, they steal the sunlight.
Sunlight, yeah. we did a pretty good job of making weeds increase anxiety levels of children,
Yes.
including and insects through Farmcraft. We tried to impress upon the student that this is definitely an invasive thing that you need to figure out what decisions to make. So I love that you mentioned that. And the other, that's cool that you like going back to last season, we did introduce crop rotation, and a lot of like the till versus no till conversation as well came in to play. And we were talking a lot about like nutrients being placed back into the soil, like, but from a no till standpoint, like growing things and letting them kind of fertilize the soil. But I love this addition of the fact that you can use them to break a cycle of a pest through crop rotation. It's awesome.
And so from what you're describing, it sounds like farmers are always growing something, but it feels also a lot of times I go by and there'll be fields that are fallow where there's nothing growing. So that could be crop rotation, but also maybe, if you're in an area where it's nice during the summer, but it's snowy in the winter, you may not be growing. So what does a farmer do in that off season when they're not growing something?
Bob, you're familiar with this from your field
John, I was hoping
experiments.
you're going to answer that.
I know, yeah, you were
Well, I
hoping I
was
was
saying
going to
that
do
the
it.
farmers that I know spend their time working on their machinery. Farmers own a lot of machinery. It's like one of the biggest costs that they face is whether I should buy a new machine this year or should I keep my old machines, my combines, my tractors, my seed drills. And if they keep their machinery for a long time, it starts to break down, and they spend a lot of their winter time fixing things, replacing parts, to preventative maintenance, all kinds of things that are important to keep the machines be reliable for the next cycle.
They also have to do all of their planning for the coming cropping season. Which seed variety are they going to buy? What kind of fertilizer are they going to use? They have to get their soil tested. They have to think about how they're going to control weeds. Do they need to control any sort of pests or insects? And all of that kind of planning has to be done. You have to read all the information. If you're planting wheat, how many different varieties of wheat are there for you to choose from, and which one is the one that you want to use?
This sounds a lot like Farmcraft.
Yeah. I mean,
it is a lot like Farmcraft.
Every farmer wishes they had a Seedtron-O-Matic, though.
Right.
I was going to say, based on that, when you were mentioning how much, they have to consider, upgrading equipment or fixing their current equipment or just, kind of relying on what they've got. What are new technologies that we see farmers now adopting to handle and maintain some of the issues that would otherwise or in the past be handled very differently?
Well, one thing that's really happened a lot in the U.S., the central U.S., is global positioning system, GPS. So like now tractors drive themselves down the field and they'll even turn around at the end. And so that actually makes the farming easier for the farmers. One particular person can cover more acres that way. One particular machine can cover more acres that way. And it increases the efficiency. Also, all the lines now are very, very straight in farm country. You don't have people that forgot where they're going and have curvy planting lines. It's all straight as an arrow.
Yeah, no texting and farming. No texting and farming.
Now you
all
can
over the
text
place.
and farm.
Now you can because you're just along for the ride.
That's right. I was actually driving the tractor earlier in one of our videos that we were making, and I decided, no, I'm just going to write NASEF in the farm with the tractor. So no more doing that. The machine won't handle that.
You just drove a diagonal. That's
really right. Just right through it. Just make everyone's
human error.
I have always loved driving past. We have a lot of fruit trees near where I live, and it doesn't matter what angle you look at, they're always completely straight rows. That is just always fascinating to me. So
absolutely. And you know what? We have automated tractors in Farmcraft that drive in perfectly straight lines, even next to each other sometimes. So I feel like we're doing a lot of things right over here, even if it is in Minecraft.
And that's coming closer and closer to reality. So that a farmer, instead of buying, a piece of equipment that's $150,000, will now buy several smaller pieces. He won't have to drive them because he can program them. They'll go off the GPS, just like what Bob was saying, and they don't care whether it's day or night. You know, they can go 24/7 if needed. So,
That's a
you know,
good point.
the robot tractor is
So, John,
probably the
does
way
that
of the
mean that
future.
that farmers need to learn coding just like game designers do?
That's right.
No, I think there's an interface that's designed to be user friendly.
There's someone in between though that's doing that
That's right.
coding,
I was going to
huh? So
say,
it doesn't just
we
happen.
have
Yeah.
we have all of these students that are learning coding and computer science that are looking at the potential careers that their futures may be, and those careers including the ones that don't even exist yet. And that's, you know, one that's on the horizon or is actually kind of happening now. So yeah,
Right.
for those kids who are interested in both computer science and farming, like the things we're doing in Farmcraft kind of include both. I did some coding a second ago.
And it's called digital. It's
there's
a
an
lot of
overlap.
what's being done now is called digital agriculture.
Nice.
So
like
there's
that.
actually a section of interest for it, and there's a lot of research and a lot of activity in that area. It's really a cutting edge field at the moment.
Yeah.
Eric, you can add that, or Brian, you can add that to your list. Plant pathologist and digital
agriculture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think digital agriculture and plant pathologist are two titles that may have to exist in a future Farmcraft world. Those are some terminologies that may have to come into those worlds.
I think fixing broken farm equipment is what's catching my attention too. It's like I could picture the off season of Farmcraft. Like, hey, we're not just resting until the next season. We got work to do.
That's
even
right.
when we're not farming.
Got to wake up early and go program the tractors. Get out there.
It doesn't fix itself. That's the problem.
Oh my goodness. Well, speaking of planning for success, this is where we're headed now with our next challenge.
That's
right. Yes. So why don't you go ahead and walk us through a little bit what is coming up in the next challenge?
Absolutely. I'm going to switch. I'm going to become Minecraft again, although I know it may be a little tricky for you to make me, you know, the whole screen or whatever, but people can look in the corner if they've gotta. But I'll become Minecraft. And for people who are, you know, whose eyes were cast down in that corner while I was Minecrafting away on nonsense, and I was literally just winging it, making nonsense happen. I'm not going to lie. Oh, there you go. You got it. So for example, you may have been wondering, like, why on earth in Farmcraft is he making this chicken fireworks machine? And why did he program his little coding agency? I did some coding to say, go team NASEF in the sky here in lights. Well, there's a reason. And you know what? This is a challenge we have never done before. And I don't know what took us so long, Claire. What took us so long?
I don't know. Delayed intelligence.
I'm telling you. So let's pull up our website and let's talk about that challenge just a little bit, because it's probably my favorite challenge of all time. So again, we go over this every time, but if you go to nasef.org/farmcraft, you will of course see the register button, and it's not too late to register. I'm going to say that as long as I can. So big orange button, get registered if you're not already, and you'll find all the information you need to catch you up to speed and get ready for the regular season, which is coming soon. But down below, we see preseason challenge number 3. I'm going to go ahead and click right into submit here and pull open our flip for this challenge. And this is one of my favorites. And I'm actually going to add a photo of what I was doing there before anyone else gets to see it. So don't worry about that. But this is why. We know that planning is a big part of what farmers have to do. We had lots of discussion about that today, but we've had discussion about it, I think, throughout Farmcraft from day one. And we want you to plan for the Farmcraft regular season and take some of the ideas that you have learned about what farmers need to do to plan and apply them to your own team. What are our planning strategies going to be? And most of all, we want you to get hyped about it. We want to get your team pumped. We want you to hype your team and get your team ready to go for the regular season challenge. So research the strategies used by modern farmers to plan for a successful growing season, things we just talked about. Consider how your team will use strategies to be successful in the Farmcraft regular season. Build your team logo in Minecraft and place signs with team member nicknames, your team slogan and motto, and a 3 to 5 rules of conduct determined by your team. So for example, this is where Brian might say, you know what, one of the rules should be no more chicken fireworks machines. And so we would put that on our rules. And most of all, hype your team. This is a hype video you're making. So we shouldn't get too many videos that are like, hi, welcome to Minecraft. My name is so-and-so. And for today, we're going to, no. Hype. We want hype. Get us pumped. So, and that's what I was trying to do, right? So I got fireworks in there. I've got a big, and I used my agent to program it. We put a big, go team NASEF in there because I guess that's our team. And is Brian, are you setting it on fire right now? What you doing?
No. There's nothing to see here. Please disperse.
I believe I hear Eric adding to the rules.
New rules for our team. Code of conduct. No setting fire to other people's builds.
Of course, that's a basic
That's
Minecraft
right.
essential.
But when we talk rules, we mean code of conduct. Like everyone contributes to the team. Everyone shares good ideas. Everyone listens to everyone's good ideas. These are really, really good strategies to have when working and collaborating as a team. And you're going to need to do that to be successful in the challenges that we've got ahead of you. So that is your task. You're going to go into the flip. You're going to submit your video. If you don't know how to do that, we have showed that on many of the streams in the past. So go back to that kickoff stream or go back to challenge 1. And I model that in those videos. Those videos are available on the NASEF website. And I will turn back into a human now. There I am.
Just like magic.
And just like that. But that's it. We want your team to get hyped. We want you to hype us up, get us excited about what you're about to do. So make it entertaining, make it high energy. Show us what you've got.
Awesome. I can't wait. We've seen a few things too. I'm going to say in the videos we saw today, we saw someone that added subtitles. We've seen some music added and that kind of thing. So these videos can be creative, and we'd love to have you add in a little bit of that production quality, if you will, as you submit these videos. That's
all the players in one world. You've got all your little Minecraft avatars in there. Dance party time. It's dance party time. Just don't jump up and down on the farmland, because then you will ruin it and the soil gets damaged. So don't do it there. Just next to the farm.
Correct.
And
These
tell
are
your
lessons
story.
we've learned. And tell your story. Absolutely. I think that we have not yet said my favorite word during this stream, which is free. Just want to remind everyone, it is free for your teams to enter the Farmcraft program. And also, if you do not have Minecraft Education Edition, we would like to provide that to you for free. So as you're in that sign up process, make sure you click the box and let us know how many licenses you need, and we will get those out to you. Not only is it free, but also you can win prizes. We have Amazon gift cards that will be awarded to the winners in all 3 age categories. So, we're trying to make it extra special for you. If I could ship you vanilla ice cream, I would do it, but we know that's not possible. So that is what is happening right now. We're looking for submissions for Challenge 3. And coming up very shortly, we have our launch of our regular season. We have been talking about the new world. We've seen little sneak peeks of it, and we're going to finally see the real deal. So we'll be doing our next live stream. We'll launch into the regular season, and that will be on March 16th, which also, can I just give a shout out? That's my mom's birthday. So next time we all meet, it'll be my mom's birthday.
We'll have to do something on stream. I will
Hi,
code it to say happy birthday, Mom, on the screen.
Oh my gosh.
What we'll have to do.
Oh my gosh. I love that. She'll be 88, so I'll have to show it to her. She doesn't know how to get into this, but that's all right. We're all about education. Yes, so our next stream is on March 16th. We can't wait to have you join us. And thank you so much for being here today. And to our special guests, John and Bob, it was really great to have you and to share the information. So we will see you all next time. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, everyone. Good luck.